KnifeDope. More dope. Come and get your fix. What's up, fuckers? Your boy's back with a fresh batch of dope. KnifeDope. But first, if you do enjoy the content, I'd ask that you would share, like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe, goddammit. It does help the channel. It does trick that algorithm. And it does help your boy to go viral. Okay, enough of that shit. Today's video is going to be a change of pace. That's right. Going to switch the game up a little bit. Take it back, some might say. If you're familiar with my channel and if you've been down for the ride, when I first started this channel back in November of 2022, right before the new year hit, I did a series called Sibling Rivalries. And these were two knives from that series. I believe it was 2 videos. And basically what I did was I had 2 knives. In that series, I had 2 knives that were siblings, for lack of a better term, and, you know, try to give my opinion on which one I felt was better. You know, I compared them, went over the whole 9 yards, basically. Excuse me. So keeping that same energy, I decided to do something similar, but at the same time, a little bit different. And that is, I'm going to be comparing a couple of knives in my collection. They aren't from the same maker. They're not from the same brand. These are just 2 knives that are in my collection that, for some reason or another, or for many reasons, they remind me of each other. But first, I do want to give a big shout out to the, excuse me, to the #1 North Carolina fucker out there, Mr. Clean, aka Jamie from Blazing EDC. It was actually his video this morning that I saw. He had a video called Versus that basically had this same type of a theme. And when I saw that video, I started thinking, because I have quite a few different knives in my collection that I contemplate, you know, that I've been contemplating, I should say, whether or not I should show them for comparison. I did another video where I compared the F5 to the Towser S. So this is something that constantly is on my mind. But it was because of his video this morning that I finally decided to pull the trigger. So here we go. Today we're going to be doing what I'm going to call, I didn't want to call it Versus, being that Jamie uses that already. I'm calling it Battle of the Blades, goddammit. In today's Battle of the Blades, we're going to be looking at the Spyderco Swayback and the Monterey Bay Knives Old Guard. Excuse me. One thing while I was doing this research earlier that kind of blew me away was it really let me know that I was onto something. I mean, these fucking knives are almost identical with specs. So let me go over them. On the Swayback, well, first off, price on these two. The Swayback comes in at about $313, and the Old Guard came in at about $225. Our overall length on the Swayback is 8.04 inches. On the Old Guard, 8 inches. Blade length on the Swayback is 3.53 inches. On the Old Guard, 3.5 inches. You see a theme here? Blade stock thickness for the Swayback, 139 thousandths of an inch. Blade stock thickness for the Old Guard, 135 thousandths of an inch. Now, blade steels are quite a bit different. The Swayback is using CTS XHP, and it is in a Wharncliffe configuration. Old Guard uses ZDP 189 with a 420 jacket, also in a Wharncliffe configuration. Swayback has a beautiful stonewash finish on the blade, hollow grind. Old Guard has a satin finish with a flat grind. The Swayback has an open back construction, as you can see here, riding on standoffs. And the Old Guard has a back spacer, and then it's got the rest of the knife is open back construction. Form of deployment, pardon me. Form of deployment. Swayback utilizes Spyderco's trademark Spidey hole. D10 is dialed the fuck in. She flies out. Both knives are riding on phosphorus bronze washers. One of the things in favor of the Old Guard is it's got dual-sided thumb studs. Now, normally I'm more of a hole guy than I am a thumb stud guy. But this knife, unfortunately, as much as I love it, it's got you closed out for your reverse flick. That's due to your frame lock bar. It's a fat one, and therefore you can't get no purchase with that finger. But there is a way to reverse flick it. You rotate it upside down. God damn it, just like that, without hitting shit. That's the only way I can get a reverse flick satisfaction with that Swayback. Both knives were created or designed by legendary knife makers. The top one, which is the Swayback, was designed by the Polish legend Marcin Sliz, responsible for quite a few different iconic knives out there. The OG, Old Guard, is designed by another legend in the knife world, and that is Ray Laconico. On this particular design, he did partner up with Sanford Owen. Sanford is actually his partner with MBK, Monterey Bay Knives. It is a joint venture, and they were also in cahoots with the design of the Old Guard. Now, as far as locking mechanisms go, our Swayback utilizes what they call the IRL. It's a frame lock, but the IRL is actually the Reeve integral locking system. And for that, they've inserted that stainless steel lock interface. The Old Guard is actually, you know, when you first look at it, you may think, oh, frame lock. But actually, no, it's a inset liner lock. So you have titanium handles with your stainless steel liners. That's okay. I kind of dig that, you know. I don't mind it as much. But shit, you know, you gave us titanium handles. Why fuck around and throw stainless steel liners in there? You know, make them titanium, goddammit. Or make them like LC200N or something like that. Anyways, I digress. Let's, they do both have contoured handles. The titanium is contoured on both of them. On your Swayback, we do have crowned handles as well. The Old Guard, they're just contoured. Pocket clips for both. The Swayback is coming with your standard Spyderco stainless steel pocket clip, which you know, it is what it is. But you do get a titanium pocket clip with the Old Guard. On the Swayback, we have a multi-positional. You can go right or left-hand tip-up carry, so it's full ambidextrous. The OG, unfortunately, is only right-hand tip-up carry. Now, let's talk about the steels a little bit. I'm not a metallurgist, nor do I pretend to be, but I did a little bit of research, and I'm going to do my best to give you guys my findings on that. The Swayback is coming with CTS XHP. Now, the CTS portion of that name just stands for the company who created it, which is Carpenter Technologies. XHP itself is actually a powder metallurgy, which is produced by Carpenter. The reason they came to that steel, or how they created it rather, was they wanted to create a steel that combined the best properties of D2 and 440C. Now, you may ask, why did they choose those two steels to begin with? Well, what they wanted was 440C has a very, very high corrosion resistance property, but it's got low hardness. D2, on the other hand, excellent hardness, but low corrosion resistance. So basically, XHP, you can look at it more so like a high hardness 420C, or you can even look at it like a high corrosion resistance D2. Basically, you're getting great wear resistance and edge retention. Now, the ZDP 189. What you see here is actually a San Mai blade. You have two steels. You have a primary cutting steel, which is jacketed from another steel. If you look here at your ricasso of the blade, you can actually see your jacket. You can see your steel in the middle, your ZDP 189, jacketed with the 420C. I tried to do some research on the ZDP 189, and there wasn't too much. The only information I did get was from Real Steel Nerds. Fantastic website, highly recommend it. But I do know that ZDP 189 was produced by Hitachi and Kaori X, two different companies. I want to say back in 1994 or some shit like that. So it's an old steel. Maybe it was 2000. I think it was 2000. With the ZDP 189, very high obtainable hardness, like 67 Rockwell or better. But however, even with that high Rockwell, your toughness is lower in the ZDP 189 than other stainless steels. Perfect example, 154 cm. So granted, people rave about the ZDP 189, but as far as toughness, it didn't compare to 154 cm. Now, as far as what I'm feeling with these knives and which one I'm liking better, action on both of them is buttery smooth, you know. If you've ever had a washer knife or a knife riding on washers, you know what I'm talking about. You get that buttery smooth action. However, you really don't get the drop like you do with typical bearing knives. However, the Swayback is an exception to that. Look at that drop. Now, granted, this has been broken in more than the old guard. The old guard is a recent acquisition. I haven't had it more than 3 weeks, I'd say, and it hasn't gotten a ton of pocket time. So that may break in a little bit more. Well, there's no secret. I am a Spyderco hoe. Now, I'm trying to keep that out of the equation and give you an unbiased decision, but it's hard, man. I love everything and anything Spyderco. As far as overall specs, these are goddamn dead money across the board. Granted, the Swayback is a little bit more money. I think it's worth it for this. So my choice for the Battle of the Blades is going to be the Spyderco Swayback, every day and twice on Sunday. What y'all think? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear all about it. Let me know if you got some knives you want me to throw in the Battle of the Blades. I'm down. Love you, mean it. Until the next time, cut something, cut someone. Just don't cut yourself. Stay dangerous, fuckers.